Hello again. Thanks for tuning in. This week I wanted to talk about when's a good time to hire a medium to do a reading, especially if you've lost somebody recently. How long should you wait after their passing before you try to get a reading? If you have lost somebody recently, first and foremost, my condolences. I know that that's not easy. From personal experience, it's one of those things you have to experience for yourself. It's hard to talk about with other people if they haven't lost somebody close. A lot of us think that when you die, you just go over into this paradise immediately, like an off and on switch. That's certainly kind of how I was taught to believe in it, but through doing readings over the years, I've seen that it's more of a process of letting go, and that process can vary for each individual. There's a lot of different factors that can affect the timing of when somebody in spirit can come through, at least me as a conduit, to deliver messages to you. For me, the way that I connect, there is kind of a time frame to all of this. Sometimes I tell people, especially if you lost somebody really close to you, like a spouse or a child, somebody that you didn't have a lot of warning with, that they passed suddenly and unexpectedly, you should probably wait at least a year. It's not necessary that you have to every time, but you yourself will know. You can sense and feel it before you even contact me, whether or not that grief has been worked through to a place where you can feel that it's going to be okay. This does not mean that you can't get a reading with any psychic or any medium. I'm only talking about how it works for me as a conduit because I'm open to their energy and they become sensitive to my energy. You could certainly hire a psychic medium that's calling themselves a medium that has an ability that's more like clairvoyance. So they get little visions or little snapshots in their head, right? And the person in spirit won't be easily affected by them trying to see where they're at. And the medium themselves won't be personally affected by the emotional baggage that particular spirit may be dealing with. So it's just like a little snapshot of, hey, there's so-and-so, and let me see again. Oh, they're hanging out with their grandmother, and maybe that person can do the reading for you within a year. It's hard to talk about and hard to explain, but just for example, a lot of times I talk about people in spirit, and I pick up on the fact that they were smokers or drinkers in life, and it's like, why am I talking about that so much? I think it's because when someone in spirit comes through me, they're reminded of things in their physical life that maybe they don't get an access to. So running with this metaphor of like addiction or something, right? If somebody was an alcoholic and you got sober, maybe on week number 2 of your sobriety, it's probably not a good idea to go hang out in a bar, right? This is a good metaphor for the afterlife, but we're not addicted to drinking. We're addicted to a personality, an identity, an emotional picture of ourselves that is necessary to engage others while we're physically alive and have this elaborate human experience. But when it's all said and done, it's unnecessary to continue that identity and that whole emotional landscape. So you kind of move into pure being in the same way that you came into this life as a baby, right? Before all these emotional experiences that formed who you are, well, you're returning to that state. So how quickly can you drop the baggage of your life that you were addicted to thinking of, right? So maybe you have guilt issues or anger issues, or you play these roles of a parent or a grandparent. How can you unburden yourself of those roles to show that you're pure being now, this infinite spirit? So it's a process. For some people, maybe you lived a long life and you're very content and happy, or maybe your personality is such that you just roll with it. You know what I mean? So that when you die, you're rolling with it then too, because that's how you are in life. So you're open to change and you're open to newness. For people like that, you don't have to wait so long to contact a medium, especially to contact me. They can come and go into my head in a way that isn't going to stir up negative nostalgia or grip them with that emotional addiction again, like walking into a bar if you're recently sober. It's kind of like that. So if your life was cut short, like you died, before your time, right? You had all this life ahead of you. You have to be able to get rid of thinking that your life was going to mean something, was you were heading towards some purpose, and now it's been stolen from you. Get rid of that whole idea of looking for purpose or building towards a dream. Just let go of it. How fast can you let go of it? Well, some people, when they're younger, it's hard to let go of that, right? So you have to dwell in the afterlife in this kind of all-seeing, all-consuming love. And the more you bathe in this love, it's like sitting in a hot tub, right? And you're just letting all this tension go, and you're letting all this emotional need go. You can come through me then without it stirring up any negative emotional repercussions, right? And certainly that 1 year time frame, it doesn't apply to everybody equally. If it was somebody that was older, maybe a grandparent, they lived a nice full life, heck, I can bring them through no problem. They were prepared to go before they went, so that's a different scenario altogether. Something seems to happen, though, around 2 to 5 months, but then I've seen it happen 7 to 9 months where I'm just unable to connect. It's like a brick wall. In that moment, I kind of feel like the person in spirit is in this blanket of forgetfulness and tranquility, like a day spa or a hot tub, right? The phone's ringing, but they're like, I can't take that call. So you'll know, too, when that window of time is, because here's the other way I know that this is real. For the space of like 2 to 5 months, something occurs where it just feels empty, like they're gone, like the signs stop. I've heard this scenario talked about countless times, and I think that's that window of time that I'm not able to connect either. It's like they're going through some spiritual car wash. And what I tell people is, have faith that this is a common situation. This is a brief window of time that can only last a few months before next thing you know, that person in spirit is back. And you'll know it because something's changed. Instead of flickering lights, now you're seeing a beautiful sunset or a rainbow. Instead of hearing noises in the house, now you feel this presence within, like your intuition is guiding you. It's like they're with you now on a deeper level. And so once that occurs, I'm able to connect again. And now I can bring them through in a way that they see the bigger picture. They're commenting on situations from a place of tranquility and wisdom, and it's not stirring up denial or anger or guilt. They're not going into their familiar personalities of being snarky or using vulgarity, or it's almost like when it's too soon and it's before that weird blackout window, I can bring them through, but it doesn't necessarily leave people feeling great because it's almost like the person in spirit is coming through and they don't believe it, or they think it's like a dream, right? So in your dream, you can say whatever you want because it's not real. It's almost like that. So that's not necessarily positive for me either. For me, what I wouldn't do is just try to hire me to do a reading when it is sudden, when it is somebody that's life was cut short, and you just kind of really need the reading to work, so you're going to ignore what I'm saying here. I really hope you don't do that because when it doesn't work and it doesn't line up, I won't know it till I'm sitting there with you. That's just the way it works for me, and it's very disappointing. I will show up to try and do the reading. Your intentions are pure, my intentions are pure. We just want the maximum healing to take place. So we're all here for good intentions, and then it doesn't work. I'm unable to get this connection going. I'm feeling funny. I'm feeling all this emotional baggage, and my stomach is turning into knots. Or maybe I just don't feel anything at all, and I'm scratching my head thinking, what is going on? This group seems like they're really open to it, and there's a hand of God in all of this. Again, think about the nature of how this person passed. If it was without warning and it was a shock and they were very emotionally close to you, such that their passing just turned your whole life topsy-turvy and you don't even know who you are anymore, That's the kind of thing you should wait a year. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all about whether or not it's okay to hire me, just ask me. I'll tell you how I feel about it, you know? Just be open and honest with me about what you're looking to do, and I can tell you if I feel like we don't need to wait that long because this one's different, or maybe we do need to wait that long because this particular one's a real tough one emotionally, you know? In the meantime, check out the video, Is It a Sign? That'll help you understand common signs from spirit. There's also a video called Understanding the Afterlife you might find interesting that just talks a little bit more deeply about how we get our head around understanding the process of crossing over. Thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe to the video if you haven't already, and tune in next week. I'll see you soon. Bye for now. And that's a wrap. Let's turn those off. Woohoo! See you later.